Hey Conservancy kids, I'm Nicole.
And I'm Luke.
And today we are talking about snakes. Snakes are so cool. And the rattlesnake is one of the most well-known desert snakes that we have in the Sonoran Desert. So I have a nice fake one with me right now because I wouldn't pick up a real one.
I wouldn't either.
I would not recommend. But you'll see that this rattlesnake is camouflaged. And what do we call that?
Cryptic.
Cryptic. So cryptic means that this snake blends in really, really well to its surroundings. So Luke and I are wearing tan. We kind of blend into the desert. So you could say that we're cryptic.
You're definitely cryptic.
So snakes blend into their surroundings, and they do so that they can hide from predators, they can hide from humans because they don't want to interact with us,
Right.
and they hide from their prey so that they can sneak up and get a tasty treat. If you look at this fake snake, you'll see that they have fangs. So these fangs are really cool because they're actually hollow. So whereas a dog or a cat, they have teeth that are solid like ours, snakes have hollow fangs. They're kind of like hypodermic needles.
At the doctor.
Yeah. And that's how they inject their venom. So as they're hiding out and they're waiting for their prey, they use their sense of smell, which is through their tongue. They sense vibration in the ground, and they can detect heat sources. So they can see when a live animal is moving around. And using all their senses, they can attack that and go, "Rah!" And they'll latch on with their fangs, grind their mouths a little bit to stimulate those venom glands, and then they'll retreat really, really quickly because they don't want to get in a tussle with an animal that's upset because they just got bit by a snake.
Who would?
I wouldn't. So snakes are super cool. You'll also notice that the snakes kind of pancake out when they're laying down. And the reason for that is they're trying to get as much heat into their body as possible. You'll see them out on trails. You'll see them on rocks. If you're paying attention, you may see them next to the trails, and they're trying to heat up their body. They're called ectotherms. Do you know what an ectotherm is, Luke?
I think so. An ectotherm is something that derives body temperature from outside sources.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool.
We are not ectotherms.
No.
As humans, we're able to control our temperature internally. That's why right now I'm sweating.
It's hot.
Because I'm hot. Exactly.
Is that endotherm?
Yes, we're endotherm, which means that we're able to derive our body temperature from the inside. So also in the winter, if you start to shiver a little bit, that's your body's way to reestablish homeostasis inside. Homeostasis basically just means balance. We want to be at a happy medium temperature, and we're going to do whatever we need to do that. Snakes, on the other hand, and other reptiles that are ectotherms, they can't do that internally. They have to go seek out heat sources or find shade to cool down. So what do you have?
Well, it just so happens that I've got a skin of a rattlesnake. Just like human beings, the skin of a rattlesnake is its largest organ. We call it the integumentary system in humans. That's a huge word.
That's a really big word.
That's just a fancy word for skin. It's the first line of defense. So the skin, if you can check yours out, it guards us from bacteria, infections. It regulates the use of water and evaporation. What else does it do? It keeps us covered and keeps us warm, or in the case of a snake, it transfers heat from the outside. It's a very thin, scaly skin. You can see some of these striations and different cryptic markings. That helps them blend into the outside. If I hold this up into the backdrop, you can see that brown that's in the trail. It's almost the same color as this snake. Now this has lost a little bit of its natural color, right?
Yeah.
It's not exactly perfect.
No.
But what it does show is the V-shaped head. V for viper.
V for viper.
We've got pit organs in the face of the snake, and they call them pit vipers. That's how you can remember it. I'm going to jump up here and show you these pit organs. So snakes have these small organs in the nose, and they use them to sense heat, like Nicole said. Pit vipers can use those almost like a thermal camera to orientate themselves, point themselves towards that tasty snack, and then they strike and retreat. Why would you retreat? You've already said it. Nobody wants to wrestle with a mad mouse. They'll scratch your eyes or harm you in some way. So in order to protect themselves, they strike and retreat. They wait for that venom to take its hold on the prey and kind of paralyze them, and then down the hatch, there goes that mouse. You and I eat a little differently. We don't have to strike and retreat. We could just cut it up with a fork and knife and throw it in the old gullet. These things are amazing. They're everywhere within the Sonoran Desert, but they are hard to find. And unfortunately, people they don't take care of these snakes. They're afraid of them. But really, there's no reason to be afraid of them, is there?
No.
They naturally eat those things that eat and cause trouble in human populations. They control the rodent population. They control other populations of animals. And for the most part, if you're giving them a little bit of space, like we say, if you see a snake,
don't step.
If you see a snake,
don't step.
Exactly. You got to give them a little bit of space, give them some time to get out of your way, and most times, 99 out of 100, you're going to be able to mitigate or keep any kind of damage from happening to either the snake or yourself. Give them a little bit of space, they'll give you yours, and then they'll take off into the wild. Some of these snakes, there's not just rattlesnakes, there's whip snakes, there's coral snakes, gopher snakes, bull snakes, garter snakes, snakes, all sorts of snakes.
Those are a lot of snakes.
That's a lot of snakes. They love the desert. They love the desert because we have a pretty mild winter, and they can overwinter in dens or big hollows that they all just kind of congregate, or at least rattlesnakes do. And then in the spring, after a long winter's nap, they emerge and start to go out and forage for mice and lizards and voles and other things that they eat. So not just rattlesnakes, there's a whole bunch of snakes out here. For the most part, they're gonna give you your space. If you give them theirs, they're not gonna harm you. But take some time. If you see one, take a look at it. Maintain a safe distance and enjoy the snake. They're pretty cool.
They're very cool.
And we thank you for coming out here. It's been good to be with you, Nicole.
It's been good to be with you, Luke.
Awesome. All right. Well, welcome back, Conservancy kids. Have a great day, and thanks for studying
snakes.
Snakes!